Imagine waking up one morning and noticing something deeply wrong in the mirror. Your armpits have what appears to be a full ponytail. Your legs look like they belong to a fantasy creature. Your back has developed its own personality, and frankly, it is not a pleasant one. Welcome to our hypothetical nightmare. A world where biological rules for body hair swap with head hair. Sounds absurd, sure. But the science behind why this doesn't happen is genuinely fascinating. Understanding it makes you weirdly grateful for the mediocre fuzz nature gave you. Here's the key. The difference between head hair and body hair isn't about the hair itself. It's about time. Hair growth happens in cycles. The phase determining length is the anagen phase, the active growing window. For scalp hair, this phase lasts 2 to 7 years. That's why you can grow hair down to your waist. Body hair, however, has an anagen phase of only a few months. That's exactly why your arm hair stops at a polite length and doesn't demand its own conditioner. Scientists have traced this difference to specific genes like FGF5. This gene essentially acts as the biological stop signal for hair growth. Change that signal, and things get very weird, very fast. Now, what actually happens to a human body covered head to toe in long, actively growing hair? First, you overheat, and not in a metaphorical way. Humans lost most of their body hair roughly 2 million years ago. This was during the transition to life on the open African savanna. Dense hair was blocking sweat from evaporating and cooling the body down. Sweating is the human superpower. It's why we can outrun a horse over a long enough distance in hot weather, something that indigenous peoples of several cultures have done historically. Long body hair would essentially trap that sweat like a wet blanket against the skin, turning your personal cooling system into something that actively works against you. Picture wearing a full fur coat while jogging in the midday sun. That is your new normal. Beyond the thermoregulation catastrophe, hygiene becomes a proper horror show. Parasites like lice, ticks, and fleas thrive in dense hair environments. This is actually one of the leading scientific theories for why humans lost their body hair. The ectoparasite hypothesis suggests that going hairless reduced the burden of external parasites, and that this became an attractive signal of health to potential mates. In a world of full body long hair, every person would essentially be carrying a 5-star resort for an entire ecosystem of uninvited guests. Basic grooming would no longer be a 10-minute shower situation. It would be a daily negotiation with nature itself. Then comes the structural problem, which is somehow even funnier. Your body has roughly 5 million hair follicles. Most of them are currently producing short, fine, almost invisible vellus hairs. You would never notice unless you looked very closely with a slightly unsettling level of attention. Now imagine all of those follicles switching to long hair mode. The sheer metabolic cost of growing and maintaining that volume of keratin would be staggering. Hair is made of protein, and producing it requires real nutritional resources. Your body would essentially redirect energy that normally goes to muscles, brain function, and organs toward an absurd and endless hair production factory. Evolution is ruthlessly practical, and it does not waste resources on things that do not help you survive. This is exactly why long body hair was phased out over millions of years. So the next time you find yourself annoyed by the small, boring, manageable hairs on your arms and legs, try to show a little gratitude. Those unremarkable follicles are the result of millions of years of ruthless biological editing. They represent evolution looking at a very hairy prototype, sighing deeply, and deciding to try something smarter. Your ability to run, sweat, stay cool, and avoid becoming a parasite apartment complex all depend on hair doing remarkably little. And honestly, given everything we just covered, doing remarkably little might be the most underrated achievement in the entire history of the human body.